All right, Shalom Makim starts his lesson. We want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakatash. Double on the side apostles and elders of great millstone that taught us his truth. Peace and blessing to the sincere alchemists that's pushing his truth. And now truth and sincerity are on the four corners of the earth, diligently to us. Shalom. Okay, I'm the brother Arayar from the Great Millstone Miami camp. And come back to the spirit power of Yahweh Shema. Try to make another lesson. Okay, it's going to be a very quick lesson. Just a lesson on exhortation, man. Understanding that, okay, the battle is not over until we win the war. Okay, understand that, these little battles that we're going through, these are minor things, man. All right, what we really and truly have to do is win the war. All right, and when I mean win the war, I mean not taking the MOTB. All right, that's that war, not getting, in your mind to try and take that Sia, not allowing famine and pestilence to crowd your judgment to where you are doing things that are not of the scripture, and not what the Lord told us to do. All right, that's one of the war. All right, right now we may have, all right, our, little battles. All right, our little stubblings. All right, but in reality, that's nothing, man. All right, because you don't, even in time and history, you may have little proxy battles. All right, but these are things that are not to be compared as the war. Yes, they are catastrophic. Yes, they have a, an effect. But in all truth, all right, winning the war is what really matters. Winning that fight is what really, really matters, man. All right, succeeding from this devil, being saved, being beamed up is what matters, man. All right, because you can, fight here and there. All right, but if you give up now, okay, you done gave up early, man. All right, we're not even at, the best part of the movie yet. All right, the best part of the movie is when things starts to get shaky, okay, and then things start to, things get shaky, and the Lord is showing us physically, rather through spiritual power or guiding us, that He's with us, man. That's when things start to get amazing. That's when your faith starts to get boosted. Guess why? Because, we have kept the word of the Lord's patience. So therefore, the Lord's going to keep us, roughly paraphrasing. All right, we are doing what's pleasing to the Lord now. So now when all hell breaks loose, the Lord gonna show His men that He's dealing, man. All right, and that's gonna help you succeed those little mini battles, man. All right, because it's not gonna just be you going through hell, you going through tribulation, and then the Lord's not at least doing something for you, man. No. You are going to start seeing things, all right? Things are going to be just less and less stressful. Yes, your flesh will be, not used to those things, but, in reality, man, the Lord going to do do those little things that He said He's going to do for us, man. Scripture said that, we gonna marry, have abundance, okay? We gonna laugh at their calamity. We gonna be eating and drinking. All right, and these people are gonna be stuck in famine. All right, and they even to where, okay, we being brought up to Esau, man, and Esau trying to persecute us. Scriptures say, not to worry about, what you say, because the Lord gonna put His words in our mouth, man. So these little mini battles, understand that you're gonna go through these mini battles, but understand that you have to win the war. You have to win that spiritual fight. Okay, because it's gonna be something spiritual, mental, and physical, man. Esau gonna try to torture some men of the Lord. All right, he may have to get thrown in a concentration camp. All right, understand these things, man. right? That's why we have to constantly endure. You know, keep, you know, and that's why scripture say too, constantly endure. Always fighting, man. All right? Always keeping the Lord first, man. Always, okay, you know, remaining steadfast in these scriptures, keeping the Lord in your mind, man. All right, that's why, you know, scripture say, you know, take no thought for life, man. All right, you know, the Lord gonna be with us, man. All right, though, hey, ultimately too, just how the Lord's helping us get through those battles, man. All right, you know, the Lord gonna, you know, help us get through that war, that spiritual war, that's, you know, that physical war, and that mental war. Because, you know, you understand that, all right, it's gonna be like a time like never before. So you are going to see things that you have never experienced, see things that you never can imagine seeing before. All right, demons, apparitions, things that you read about in the scriptures. All right, things that you may possibly see on movies. I know movie Esau show a little bit of what Jacob Trouble may look like when it comes to hell-breaking news, but we're going to oversee that because Esau get his inspiration from the Lord. All right, so. You know, it's going to be a mental thing because the Lord, you know, not the Lord, but all right, it's going to be a mental thing because in your mind, you're going to be constantly fighting. Whether you have family, you have kids, they're going to be wondering why, you know, things are not happening to their expectations. All right, and it's going to be something that you got to battle. All right, you know, when it comes in those times, man. You know, it's gonna be something where you have to make a sacrifice. All right, as well as physical too, because you may be, you know, starving for certain days. You know, does that mean lose hope in the Lord? Scripture say, yeah, the Lord gonna give us food, but we still gotta wait on the Lord regardless, man. Because, you know, the Lord is testing our integrity, okay? The Lord is testing us, man. All right? You know, to see that, you know, to really see if we about what we've been preaching about. Because people may think that, all right, you know, the Lord said He's going to give us all these things, but just because they think that it's not happening in their expectations, they may start to doubt. They may start to think that the Lord not dealing with them. Because things not happening at the pace that they wanted. But we have to wait on the Lord, man. All these little battles that we going through, the Lord putting us through these things to show us, hey, you know, we gotta wait on Him, man. All right, never trying to figure things out ourselves, always reverencing the Lord. All right, and that's where it gets spiritual too, man, because, you know, people are gonna be fighting demons. All right, demons gonna be more in those days. All right, that's why we gotta constantly, you know, stay in these scriptures, man. All right, that's why we gotta constantly pray and, you know, give the Lord His praise, man. All right, constantly, you know, when demons fuck with us, giving, you know, praying to the Lord, you know, rebuking Satan, so that it's already muscle memory in our mind, man. Okay, and understand that. All right, you know, we're going to have these mini battles, but we have to win the war. Win the most important fight. Not taking that seat, not, okay, getting, you know, in your mind to where you contemplating on giving up. Win the most important part of the war, man, which is not taking that seat. Not bowing down the Esau system. All right, but, no, brothers, I just wanted to make that lesson, man. Right, okay, we're going to have these mini battles, but win the war, man. Win that spiritual war, that physical war, and that mental war, man, so that the Lord may bless you with the kingdom. Okay, so Lord willing, lesson is edifying. With that, I do want to give all praise and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Kakadash, the bonus our apostle, elders, great mules, and that's all this is truth. Peace and blessings to sincere outcomes. With that, I do want to say, shalom.